The Art Beat, a weekly program putting you in touch with artists and arts events from the J.T. and Margaret Talkington College of Visual and Performing Arts at Texas Tech University. Hello and welcome to The Art Beat, this week on 105.7 FM KLZK. I'm your host, Peter Martins, and this is our second of two spots on the Band and Orchestra Camp at the Texas Tech University School of Music. And I am here now. Well, we heard from the band side last week. I'm here with the orchestra side, represented by Texas Tech violin faculty member Annie Chalex-Boyle. Hello, Annie.
Hello. And
also by camp's logistics guru manager, Hannah Porter.
Hi.
She's the one that actually makes it run.
Sure.
Yes. So we spoke a lot about the general vibe of camp last week with David Beal and talked about registration and that sort of thing. And this week we're going to look at the orchestral side and also talk about the final performances and talk about how the community can be involved in those if they wish and what students get to experience there. But if I want to back up a little bit and start by asking Annie, you've been involved with Band and Orchestra Camp for several years. You've been at Texas Tech for several years. What are the things that make you excited to give whatever time you can when you're in town over the summer to the students that come to BOC?
Yeah, thanks. This is going to be my 14th summer participating in BOC, and I've had the opportunity to teach almost every single summer doing sectionals, private lessons, but then I've also had the added opportunity to have 3 of my kids, my own children, attend BOC. So I've seen it from both ends, both the family side of things and the professional side of things.
Lovely. And do you get to interact with, would you say, families in general, or you're mostly limited to seeing the students during that time?
So it's all students all week, but at the final concerts, both the final chamber concert and the final orchestra concert, families come. It's a great way to get to know where the kids are from originally, and we have students from all over Texas as well as, of course, from Lubbock.
Wonderful. On the other side of the coin, maybe, of the BOC, people have to get from place X to Y on time, be in the right room, have their instruments, get to the movie night on time, and I think that is where Hannah's role is absolutely important for the student experience.
I hire people that make that happen. I do a lot of the logistics for room scheduling and making sure that we have people like Dr. Chalex-Boyle who are available to teach. I help with registration, all that good stuff. But yes, we are, the staff is integral to making sure kids are where they are supposed to be and not where they are not. We also make sure that the performances are recorded and or live streamed for the parents. So if you have signed your kiddo up and you're wondering when you get to see what they've been working on all week, if they have a chamber performance, it'll be Friday, July 4th. And if they are part of a major ensemble, that will be Saturday, July 5th.
Okay, and those the schedule of those performances and maybe links if they are streamed?
So we will have that on our website. We have a tentative schedule posted as is. We will also, by the time you're hearing this, we will have a more concrete schedule posted so you can follow along. We also will promote this on social media, so make sure you check Instagram and Facebook. If you Google TTU space BOC, it'll bring you straight to our website.
Great. Okay. And if people are local or are traveling to Lubbock for this, obviously these performances are held in the School of Music and particularly Hemley Recital Hall?
So most of them are. For our chamber series, we actually, all through the day on Friday the 4th, they will be out in the sub foyer, so the Student Union Building foyer. So that is open to the public. Parents are welcome to come watch their kiddos in person if they aren't watching them on the live stream or via recording. But yes, for Saturday, for those big final performances for the bands and the orchestras, that will be in Hemley Recital Hall, which is in the School of Music and has been recently renovated and is absolutely glorious to be in.
Yes, if you haven't been in it, I was in there with a group this morning that hadn't seen it since its unveiling last fall, and there's a lot of oohing and aahing when people walk into the space. It's really lovely, and more importantly, it sounds great.
It does. Dr. Stetson did a fantastic job making this happen for us, so we are so excited to use this for camp for the very first time.
Wonderful. So on the topic of orchestras, this is a large camp, as we learned last week. How many orchestras do you expect to field every year?
So this summer there are going to be 2 orchestras, and it really does encompass all levels that are out there, from kids who've been playing for just a year and students who are quite seasoned.
as you said, I also had a couple of kids participate in the BOC over the years. And on the orchestra side, maybe a little more than the band side, I was struck by some students start playing string instruments at very, very young, as the audience likely knows. And so the age spread in the orchestra seemed to be a bit broader than it was in the bands. And my daughter, who was on the young side of things when she was participating as a 6th or 7th grader, was sitting next to some high school senior, maybe even intersection with someone in college. So it was a really neat kind of, almost you might say, cross-generational experience within these sections of the orchestra, where she really looked up to these kids, and the older ones kind of took her under their wing, that sort of thing. Do you see that in your studios as well, with the kids you're teaching?
Yeah, there's a huge cross-section of age and level, and yet everybody feels sort of part of a family. And I think that's one of my favorite things about BOC, is that my own kids who've gone beg to go back. They just say, yeah, sure, we're practicing, sure, we're performing, and it's so much fun. And they come back and they say, I'm friends with a high school student. And so they don't feel the age difference as much.
So what are some of the things that those sorts of remarks come from? What are the fun things? What do the kids really look forward to?
Sure. So we have a wealth of different leisure activities. Both the commuters and the overnight campers are welcome to partake in those in the evening. So we'll have 2 different pool nights, one for middle school and one for high school. So they get to use our awesome leisure pool, the Lazy River up at the rec center. We also have movie nights, dance nights. We'll have a talent show. We will use Thursday night to showcase our jazz bands, which is super exciting. And then Friday evening will be our faculty band and faculty orchestra. So they get to see their instructors perform as well, which they always seem to get a huge kick out of, actually seeing them perform after they've been teaching them all week.
Put your money where your mouth has been
Exactly.
all week. Yes.
Yeah.
So since that Friday is July 4th, any possibility of incorporating any of that in the camp experience this year?
Yes. We typically, since the camp is always over the 4th of July, or it has been for the last few years, we allow our activities director to kind of run wild with that day. So after the concerts for faculty band and faculty orchestra, they will probably broadcast the Boston Pops fireworks concert. That's what we've done in years previous. Since we have Himley back online and it is renovated and awesome, and it now has that 4D projection, we will likely have that as an option for the campers after the concert, for them to enjoy the Boston Pops and watch the projection of the fireworks in Himley.
Excellent. That sounds like a great experience. Can the public come to that?
That's for campers only, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. So, Professor Chalex-Boyle, you mentioned on the orchestra side, you have the large ensembles, the 2 orchestras, but then also you mentioned the chamber ensembles. How does that work? How do students get parsed down into those groups?
So if students choose to do it as an elective, they can participate in smaller ensembles, chamber music ensembles, and work with our faculty. And so it's something that meets every day, and at the end of the week there's a performance, and parents will be able to come to that. It really is a chance to not have a conductor and have 4 or I guess more equal parts for their ensembles.
And we talked with the band side last time that a lot of those smaller ensembles are instrument specific, clarinet choir, trombone choir, that sort of thing. With the chamber ensembles and strings, is it limited that way as well, or is it across different instruments?
Yeah, we definitely have a mix of different string ensembles. So it could be a violin quartet. It could also be a string quartet, which would be 2 violins, viola, and cello. And then I know that there is a bass ensemble that usually performs every year. So it really can be a myriad of different ensemble experiences for these kiddos.
Yeah, that's talk about the different legs of the stool of music education, right? The large ensemble and the individual lessons. Those are, I think, the things that people go to most immediately in their own minds. But the chamber, the smaller group things are what often gets left out. So that's great. A great part of it. So in addition to these chamber ensembles on the orchestra side for the string players, what other electives do they tend to gravitate toward?
So we have a lot of electives for them to choose from. What we do is we place them based off of their audition on the first day. So on Sunday, June 29th, everybody auditions and gets placed based off of that performance. We don't turn anybody away. So if you have a bad day, don't worry about it. You're still going to learn. You're going to be placed. But based off of the schedule of the ensemble that you're placed in, the camper gets to choose elective classes. So we have music of the Beatles, we have music history, we have leadership, we have the chamber ensembles, music and technology. We have a whole wealth of things. We also have keyboard. So beginning piano, advanced piano. We have somebody who teaches all throughout the day different levels. So if they want to learn piano, that's another option for them as well. So there is no shortage of different electives based off of their interests that are available.
Great. Sounds like it's more of a round. I mean, you can't play your instrument all day, right? Although string players come close a lot of times, right?
I think the variety of what's offered throughout the day keeps the kids fresh, even though they may, sleep well that night. They definitely have breaks during the day and different activities to keep their interests piqued.
So they're going back and forth otherwise just between full orchestral rehearsals, which are multiple per day. Is that right?
Yes. So each ensemble meets at least twice per day. They also have individual master classes for their instrument. They'll have sectionals. They have the option to take private lessons should they so choose. So that'll be fit in during the day. But interspersed are those fun electives. They do get a little bit of a brain break. So they're not wearing their fingers to the bone on their strings. So they have that time to just breathe and be kids and relax and have fun and meet new people.
Right. So and I know that requires a lot of energy, and I know it requires a lot of energy of the staff and especially the conductors to do 2 or 3 full rehearsals each day. I bet those folks sleep well at night as well.
I have to say, I think there's an incredible way that the conductors are chosen. They all seem to be fun and energetic and brilliant. And so the kids also don't seem bored at all. Like there's just always that energy there. And I think, Hannah, you're doing a great job coordinating all of those things.
So why don't we go ahead and review the final performance schedule for everyone just to make sure we know where to be and where we can access these.
Sure. So the first performances that are available to the public and that are open for parents to attend would be Thursday evening, and that's going to be our jazz band concerts. So we plan to have those in Himley, which is super exciting because we haven't been able to have those in the last couple of years in Himley. Now that it's open and renovated, it's going to be a wonderful experience for those kiddos to be the first ones to really break it in and perform for camp. Then Friday, all throughout the day, we're going to have elective chamber performances. That's going to be in the sub foyer. That's going to be in the Student Union Building foyer, and so parents are welcome to come and join that. We'll have chairs out for them. They also are going to be live streaming those performances and recording them, so if you can't make it in person, don't worry, you'll still be able to catch it. And then Saturday, July 5th, beginning at 8:30 in the morning, we start our final performances for the major ensembles. So it starts with Band 7, then Band 6, then Band 5. Then we have a break for Orchestras 2 and 1, and then Bands 4, 3, 2, 1 in the afternoon.
So a absolute full day of ensembles should you wish to listen to more band music than...
As much band and orchestra music as you could possibly take in one day.
Now, you mentioned the jazz bands on Thursday night. Those are to clarify, those are the Texas Tech School of Music jazz bands, or are those BOC jazz bands?
Those are campers only. So we have an advanced jazz band and we have an intermediate jazz band for our campers. So our campers actually will be performing for their fellow campers and for their instructors Thursday night.
So that's one of the electives they could choose to be in addition to their large ensemble?
That is correct. They actually audition into a jazz band after their major audition. So these kids are putting in a lot of work for jazz band.
Yes, that sounds like it. And you both have talked about auditioning a little bit, and that is, a word that I think a lot of our listeners probably strikes fear into their hearts, right? Imagining that process. And I would say, and I'm interested in your opinions, that is one of the kind of fringe benefits, shall we say, of music study, of coming to something like band and orchestra camp and having that experience. There are a few things that prepare you for a wider array of jobs and higher stress job experiences than these sorts of things, but it's done in a supportive environment, as you've been talking. And so, how do you see that working?
Yeah, I think auditions are helpful just so we get kids in the right groups and the right ensembles, but it also is a very good way to get people to practice before they come. And so I think that it can be, it's a very positive experience. When I have walked through the hallways, kids are warming up, and it's not as stressful as auditioning for something like Allstate. It's a supportive group of people, and it's really a week of fun. I also just want to say one other thing is that for community members, this is here in Lubbock. This is It's free. You can come and watch these amazing ensembles. And our School of Music is set up where it's easy to walk in, easy to find these ensembles. There'll be signs everywhere telling you where to go. So please come and enjoy it.
Great. Thank you so much. That's a good reminder, a good note to end on. I want to thank my guests today, Hannah Porter and Annie Chalex-Boyle from the Texas Tech School of Music, and helping pull off the long-standing Texas Tech Band and Orchestra Camp, I think in its 10th decade of existence.
Yeah, I believe this is year 91.
Yes, excellent. So we look forward to seeing anyone who can make it on July 4th and 5th to see all these wonderful students. Thanks to you both.
Thank you.
The Art Beat, a weekly program putting you in touch with artists and arts events from the J.T. and Margaret Talkington College of Visual and Performing Arts at Texas Tech University.